Can you sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now? His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan.
You know, you know.
I didn't know he had fans like that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No, his records. Pusha T, I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that, but you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought, like, you dig? Like, where I'm from, niggas want to be like you if you was really that.
Jim Jones picked the wrong legends to play with NAS and Pusha T, 2 giants in the game, and he didn't just toss shade, he launched full-on shots like he was ready to watch the whole place explode. He fired off disrespect back-to-back, moving like he had nothing left to risk. Now his career is hanging on by the thinnest thread, and people are talking like that thread already snapped. One wild podcast moment flipped the whole culture on him, just like that. He said Nas was never really that impactful. He called Pusha T overrated, and then he even bragged that he's the one who made Nas go viral again. That's when folks started saying Jim crossed a line he might not come back from. Because what came after didn't feel like regular rap sparring. It felt like the culture was slowly pushing him out the door. Now people are asking if this was another ego meltdown, or if the same culture Jim once helped lift is now shoving him out the frame. And that one quote, it's still flying all over social media like a warning signal. Then his summer jam set got chopped, and Pusha, he's just warming up. So let's rewind for a sec and break down what really sparked this slow burn takedown, because that sentence Jim dropped wasn't just disrespect. It felt like he was trying to erase a whole legacy. He didn't critique Nas's recent work, he went for something way deeper. He didn't just disrespect Nas, he tried to wipe out everything the man ever built, like he could erase decades with one loud moment. And where did he drop this wild claim? On the Joe and Jada podcast, a spot known for chill conversations, not for dropping career-ending bombs. But instead of cooling off or clearing the air, Jim doubled down like he was proud of it. He said Nas never meant much to the culture, and even acted like his own Billboard stats could stand next to or outshine Nas's legacy. Let's get something straight right now. Nas isn't just a rapper, he's a foundation block of hip-hop. Illmatic is literally taught in college classes. Ether still has veteran rappers waking up in cold sweats, and King's Disease proved he's not fading, he's leveling up every era. Meanwhile, Jim was talking like he just dropped The Chronic, and the internet wasn't buying any of it. What made the whole thing even wilder was that this wasn't about skill, numbers, or lyrics. It was straight ego energy dressed up as an opinion. And then he brought his kid into the conversation like that was supposed to make the take stronger. For real? What kind of message is that sending?
Do you like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good?
It's so, oh man.
It's good.
So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't tell us about,
it's
bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it.
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them.
Oh.
But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay nobody's craft or their music. I want to uplift everybody and things like that. But I don't listen to their music. I never.
The internet didn't even hesitate. They came in heavy. Fans started flooding timelines with receipts, awards, sold-out shows, back-to-back classic albums, everything pointing right at Nas. Meanwhile, Jim's chart record was looking shaky when you put it side by side, and after all that online smoke, most people would have cooled off, maybe apologized, or at least stayed quiet for a minute. But not Jim. He hopped on Nightcap, stared Shannon Sharpe straight in the face, and tripled down. He said Nas never had the influence people think he did, and then pushed it even further by saying Nas was always in second place. This had the whole culture staring like, did he really just say that? But wait, second to who? Jay-Z and DMX? Come on now, that doesn't even make sense. Those three were never running in the same lane, not even close. Nas brought soul, reflection, and straight poetry to the streets. Jay was all strategy and power moves. DMX delivered raw chaos and pain that hit people in their chest. Trying to compare them is like putting Kendrick and Future in the same box, 2 totally different animals with totally different missions and styles. Saying Nas never led the pack isn't an opinion. It's rewriting history in broad daylight. And here's the wild twist. Jim didn't even act like he wasn't a fan back then. He straight up admitted that when he was a teen, he looked up to Nas and even tried to dress like him. Now he's out here downplaying a 30-year legacy over one movie clip from 1998, and that's when the whole thing starts sounding unreal. At this point, it's not about numbers or simple opinions anymore. Jim is talking like he needs Nas to sit below him, and he's frustrated that the actual facts don't back him up. This was never really about bars. It was about position and status. Jim wanted to prove he belongs in the same room as the greats, but instead he revealed how much it still bothers him that the culture doesn't place him in that conversation. And if anybody thought Jim was finally gonna slow down, no chance. He went on Bag Fuel and dropped one of the wildest takes yet. He didn't just say Nas wasn't relevant, he didn't just say Nas was always second best. Nah, Jim pushed it to another level. He claimed he's the one who brought Nas back into the spotlight, like the whole culture needed to thank him for reminding everyone Nas even existed. This had people staring at the screen like, what is he talking about? The internet clapped back fast, like instantly. One fan broke it down perfectly. The reason you're being talked about is because you're making stupid comments about Nas. They said that's the only reason interviews are even happening. Just clicks, nothing more. Another fan came in even stronger, saying the amount of delusional disrespect from Jim Jones towards Nas is getting out of hand. And they were tired of hearing it. And they weren't the only ones. People were done with the nonsense. You don't earn stripes by talking reckless like that. And when you stack up the real receipts, the numbers don't lie. Nas has been active, 3 full albums in the past 5 years, a Grammy win, packed shows everywhere. He's been putting in work. Meanwhile, Jim has mostly been jumping from podcast to podcast running his mouth instead of dropping heat. He thought he was starting a new narrative, but all he really did was start his own slow-motion career funeral. Now let's rewind to Paris, 2024. The Louis Vuitton Spring-Summer Show was going crazy. The crowd was legendary. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, LeBron, every major force in music, fashion, and culture was sitting front row, cameras popping non-stop. Pharrell was debuting his first official collection as head of Louis Vuitton Men's, and it was already looking like a moment straight for the history books. Then the beat dropped out of nowhere. But this wasn't just any regular instrumental, it was Clips stepping back into the spotlight. Pusha T and his brother No Malice walked out with a brand new track like they owned the whole runway. The energy flipped instantly. Everybody in the room knew something big was about to go down. First time in over a decade, the whole vibe shifted. Heavy. You could feel the electricity in the room flip instantly, and even Jay-Z was locked in, nodding like he knew something serious was happening. That wasn't slick talk. That was straight war energy dropping right in the middle of the biggest fashion event of the entire year. And the lyrics? They were loud without even being loud. Everybody knew exactly who Pusha was aiming at. That chasing a feature out of your element line? Direct shot at Jim Jones linking up with Drake right after Drake brought him on stage in Harlem and called him an honorary Dipset member. The same Drake that Pusha crushed with The Story of Adidon, and to this day, folks say Drake's image never fully shook off that hit. But this wasn't Pusha tossing a fast diss on SoundCloud. Nah, this was strategy. Pure chess. He turned Paris Fashion Week into his battlefield. Like he wanted the whole world to watch his response play out in real time. That's the level he's on now. Meanwhile, Jim was out here talking messy on Breakfast Club, Rap Caviar, Drink Champs, saying Pusha wasn't even top 50. But Pusha didn't blink. He didn't run to a mic or jump in a studio rant. He went high level with it. Billionaires around him, luxury brands behind him, rap royalty in the crowd watching his clapback unfold live on the runway. And here's the part that hit even harder. This moment wasn't just about bars, it was about the symbolism. Pharrell produced the track. The same Pharrell who helped create the entire Clips sound from day one. The roots, the history, the chemistry, it all came together right there, making the message sting even more. He's got deep Virginia roots and connections that stretch into the highest circles of fashion, real power spots. That new track, Chains and Whips, was reportedly cooked up inside Louis Vuitton's Paris HQ, overlooking the Seine River like a movie scene. Pharrell even told the New York Times while pointing at the exact window, that was made in this room, explaining how they were walking around, looking out at the whole view, saying, we beating this system, bro. That's how deep this moment ran. Revenge, luxury, and legacy all wrapped into one stylish hit. While Pusha was making power moves in Paris, Nas was quietly building something massive back home in Queens. While Jim was chasing blog clout, Nas was launching Resorts World Queens, a huge 350,000 square foot casino backed by a $5 billion vision. This wasn't some quick collab or a flashy stunt. This was equity, real estate, and generational wealth for his entire borough. Meanwhile, Jim was bragging about summer jam bookings like it was still 2008. Nas didn't need to drop a bar or fire a diss. He dropped receipts, real ones, and those hits landed way harder than any track could. Fans noticed immediately. The comments under Nas's post went straight for the truth. One said someone else, that can't stop yapping is worried about going viral, while Nas is out here making boss moves. That's the real difference. When you're respected, wealthy, and still active, you don't need to clap back. Your life does the talking for you. And Jim, he ended up getting booed off the stage. Let's lay out the scene. Summer Jam 2024. Jim finally got the spotlight he'd been chasing all year, but the moment he touched the mic, straight silence. And then it got even worse. Funkmaster Flex, one of Jim's biggest supporters for years, cut his entire set short. You could see the shock hit Jim in real time, like he couldn't believe it was happening right in front of him. This was supposed to be Jim's big comeback moment, the one he hyped up all year. But none of that energy connected. He didn't bring hits. He brought drama, and the crowd wasn't trying to hear it. And somehow, Even after everything fell apart on stage, Jim still wasn't done talking. He had one more diss lined up, and this time, he made it personal. After the Louis Vuitton moment, Pusha T didn't need to say a single word publicly, but behind the scenes, the whispers were moving fast. He wasn't finished. Not even close. People close to Clipsy started hinting that their upcoming reunion album is loaded with sharp surgical bars aimed straight at Jim. That Paris runway track? That was just the warm-up. What's coming next is supposed to be darker, tighter, and way more ruthless. Some insiders are even calling this Pusha's Coke Bear moment because he's stepping into the full villain role with no hesitation. No filter, no holding back. And if Jim keeps running his mouth on every mic he finds, it's looking like a lyrical beating is headed his way. Serious damage. But this isn't only about the bars, it's the whole setup. Pusha is making his comeback in luxury spaces, surrounded by billionaires and major power players, turning fashion houses into battlegrounds. Meanwhile, Jim is still rapping in Harlem alleyways over the same beat he just got outshined on, like he's stuck in a loop while everyone else has moved on. The contrast is loud and everybody can see it. Yep, you read that right. Jim actually flipped the Chains and Whips instrumental and dropped his own freestyle like he was ready to go toe-to-toe, but then he pushed things too far. He brought up no malice, and that's where he messed up heavy. Pusha might handle the jabs, but bringing up his brother, a man who stepped away from rap to follow his faith and change his whole path, that wasn't just a diss. That was straight disrespect. Pusha hasn't clapped back publicly yet, but if there's one thing everybody knows, it's that he never strikes fast. He strikes smart, and when he does, it hits like a truck. And then Jim made his biggest mistake of the whole situation. He dissed Clips' brand new single on camera during an interview, taking one more swing at Chains and Whips, trying to act unfazed like he was in control. But that little "I'm cool" move might have sealed his fate for real, and right when people thought Jim finally ran out of things to say, he kept going. Another interview clip started circulating, and Jim doubled down again. This time tossing shade not just at Pusha or No Malice, but at the entire Clips legacy. He called their style dated, said their subject matter don't hit like it used to, and even questioned why anyone was hyped about a Clips comeback in the first place. The whole timeline watched like, did he really just go after the whole squad now? This was bold, reckless, and wild all at the same time, and people could feel things shifting fast. But here's the twist. While Jim is out here trying to discredit legends, Clips is getting welcomed into luxury spaces by the same industry power players who once overlooked them. And the people paying attention can see the shift clearly, because in 2025, it's not just about going viral anymore. It's about staying relevant with respect. And that's exactly where Jim is slipping hard. Push has stayed quiet in public, but the silence feels heavy, like something dangerous is loading in the background. Clips fans are already buzzing that the next drop is going to be straight nuclear. Behind the scenes, producers, stylists, and execs are treating this Clips rollout like a full-on art exhibit. Strategic visuals, luxury branding, and even whispers about a documentary being filmed around it. That's the level they're moving on. Meanwhile, Jim's whole strategy is looking shaky. After the freestyle flop, the cold reaction at Summer Jam, and the non-stop backlash in the comments, even some of his longtime supporters are starting to question the direction he's taking. The hype he tried to build is turning into exhaustion. Folks aren't entertained anymore. They're embarrassed for him. And now the pressure is stacking up quick because once Clips finally drops that album, and if it hits as hard as insiders claim, it's not just gonna bury the beef. It's looking like it could rewrite the whole conversation around legacy, relevance, and who truly holds weight in the culture. Jim might have started a fire he wasn't ready to stand in. It might end up burying Jim's credibility right along with it. At this point, Jim isn't fighting rap giants. He's fighting his own relevance, and he's losing fast. He tried to play it cool, saying he never even listened to Clips, but that fake calm cracked quick. The insecurity was leaking through every sentence because deep down he knew he was the target, and he got cooked with no spins and no excuses. They handled him, and this is where the whole energy flips. It's not just Nas and Pusha anymore, it's the entire culture turning its back. Blogs are dragging him daily, and even die-hard Dipset supporters are starting to step away, saying it's time for Jim to log off. This wasn't a rap beef, this was a reality check. Jim Jones stepped into the ring thinking he was ready to spar with legends, but instead of delivering bars, he got humbled by silence, strategy, and billionaire-level moves. Now he's not trending, he's not charting, he's not getting playlist love. He's slowly turning into a ghost in the same game he helped build. And the wildest part? The new Clips album hasn't even dropped yet. That might be the final nail in the coffin, the real funeral moment when the culture officially moves on without him. If you made it all the way through, drop a comment and let us know. Do you think Jim can come back from this? Or is it officially game over? Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you never miss what's next on Mic Trip, because this story is far from finished.